Okay, so now let's look at these examples. We have these first two terms. Everything has a p in it, so sometimes it's really nice when you can factor things out. The other thing is, if I look at this term and this term, they have a p and an s in common, right? So if I was going to factor out from those terms, I'm just going to carry down that middle term first. And then I'm going to factor a PS out from both of those. So when I factor PS out of this first term again, right here, okay, when I take PS out of that, I'm left with a 1 in there. And when I take it out of this second term here, I take a P and S out, I'm left with Q. Right? So now I have this term. Now, what is 1 or Q equal to? 1 or Q is just going to be equal to 1, right? So now we have P and S and 1. Now what do we know about P and S and 1? It's going to be equal to P and S. Right? So now we're down to P and not Q and not S and or P and S. Okay? So now what we'd like to do is think, well, what can I do to that? They have a P in common here and here. So I'd like to factor them out. So I'm going to take the P out, and I have not Q and not S or S. And when you look at that, you may not immediately recognize it, but that's just the consensus theorem kind of written in a different order. And it's actually, I think, 13C on your summary sheet. So the consensus theorem for this is, or not Q, not S, would be equal to S or not Q. Right? So now we have P, and we're going to substitute that in, S or not Q. Okay, and now what we need to do is we've got to multiply that back out. So we have PS or P and not Q, and that's our final answer. So let's look at another problem. Oops, maybe that's it. Oh, I didn't do my first one. Alright, so let's look at this one. So this is my expression, and this is a POS, but we want to put it in SOP form. So what do? We need to FOIL this out. This is the distributive law, so it will become R and not R, or R and T, or not S and not R, or not S and T. Now there's a simplification we can do here. R and not R, that's 0, right? And X, anything in 0, is just equal to the thing. So our final answer here becomes okay. So I hope that gives you some help.